So once you have your dough at this right size, it's just coming out beyond the edge of this plate, then you're ready to dress. And I would recommend that for the first few pies you do, it's kind of like if you've ever made crepes before. The first one might not be perfect, and so it's nice to have a few throwaways. Instead of throwing these away, though, you're probably going to eat them. So it's nice to work with just a little bit of basic tomato sauce and to get used to that saucing technique. So this is the sauce that we've made just by pureeing canned tomatoes. And the ladle is a very important tool. And you want to make sure that you're using, for me, I like using a nice round ladle. And anywhere from 2 to 3 ounces, depending on how much sauce you like. This is a 3-ounce ladle, so we're going to use this for a slightly more heavily sauced pie. So the technique is just to drag it out of the container, and then whatever container you're using, it's always smart to use the side of the container to just wipe the back of the ladle before you transfer, so you just minimize the amount of mess that's going onto your bench. You always want to keep a nice dry bench whenever you're making pizza. So scraping on the back of that table, straight over to the pizza, dump everything right in the center. That's the first move, is to dump right in the center. And then using the bottom of your ladle, you're going to push from the center outwards, making sure that all of the sauce is getting pushed to the edges and that there's not a big clump of sauce in the middle. So the technique is just to make circles, getting bigger and bigger as you go out. And as you can see, I'm forming small little rings that go all the way around. And for this Roman style pizza, we like them dressed very far to the edge, so not so much sauce, not so much crust showing without sauce. All right, and then we spoke about olive oils before. We're going to dress this with a little bit of our cooking olive oil. And this makes a big difference because the way that tomato sauce cooks with a little bit of this fat is very different than this tomato sauce would cook without any fat at all. It comes out looking kind of dry and pasty without this, but with the olive oil and the fat, it adds not only flavor, but it gives a nice sheen to the sauce and it keeps it nice and runny. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt. We don't have any salt in the sauce yet, and so like I said, we have our pans that have been kind of floured. Everything's kind of messy, so it really helps to have this coarse Maldon salt. It's very easy to sprinkle. Just a light sprinkle.